Hello, I'm Peter from The Guy Show, and today we're going to be talking about ecosystems. So first of all, an ecosystem is a community of biotic, which is like living, and abiotic, which is non-living, components that like live together. So biotic is like the animals and the plants and like microbes in the ecosystem, and the abiotic would be the air, the sunlight, the air temperature, and like the water and stuff like that. So today we're going to be specifically talking about an ecosystem that we created kind of by accident. So we had tortoises, and when they got bigger, we decided to build them an enclosure in our backyard. So we built it and we put in some plants like basil, and we had hibiscus. We put in grass and rocks and all kinds of stuff. And then we put them in there. The food that we gave the tortoises, it started attracting fruit flies. And praying mantis eat fruit flies, so the praying mantis started coming, and they were laying their eggs in there. And the baby praying mantis attracted spiders, which were eating the baby praying mantis. The spiders attracted lizards, which were eating them. And then the lizards attracted the birds, which were eating them. Okay, I want to go a little bit more in depth about the biotic and abiotic factors of our ecosystem. So some of the biotic are like I said before, the fruit flies, praying mantis, spiders, lizards, and birds and stuff. And when the birds, they eat the plants and other insects in there, and when they go to the bathroom, it spreads the seeds, and so in our ecosystem at pretty much any time, there could be a little sprout of a plant and we wouldn't even know what it was. So the tortoises do that too, because when they eat, they could eat stuff like plants growing in there, and then when they eat some of the stuff and they go to the bathroom, more stuff could grow too. But when they do it, it wouldn't be stuff we wouldn't know, because they are eating the stuff we already have in there. And so some of the abiotic factors are like the sand, because they have sand. The rocks, we have rocks in there. We have a tunnel that they go and hide in. We have like the air temperature, which is, it's kind of hot, but they're used to that because they're tortoises, and tortoises live in the desert. The water, when it rains, a lot of water pools up in like the rocks. There's a picture of it right here. Alright, so while we're talking about the abiotic and biotic factors, let's talk about how there's a circle of like when the tortoises, they eat the plants, and then they go to the bathroom and it rains and stuff, and the nutrients from that soaks back into the ground, and the plants take it back in, and then the tortoises eat the plants again, and it's a constant circle that is always happening. So the tortoises, they eat the fruit off of the prickly pear cactus, and that fruit has a lot of seeds in it. So when they eat it and when they go to the bathroom, they're spreading out all those seeds, and that spreads out the cactus. And so it's a symbiotic relationship, because the cactus gives the tortoise food, and in return, the tortoise spreads out the cactus. So also there's biological competitions between the organisms living inside of the ecosystem. And an example of that is between the bushes and the grass. So the grass is growing underneath the bushes, and so the bushes are covering up the grass, and there's a lot of shade. So that's hard because the grass needs sunlight to grow, and so it starts to die. So what we used to have things like inchworms and grasshoppers and stuff, well, we still do have those, but they used to live in those areas under the bushes. But since there's not a lot of grass and there's a lot of shade and a lot of moisture under there, there's a lot of bugs, more like beetles and earwigs. So right here we have a picture of a grasshopper that's living in our ecosystem. My brother, he saw it before it grew up, and this is what it looks like now. Around us, which is the desert ecosystem, we have more locusts, but in this picture it's a grasshopper, like a green grasshopper. But the grasshopper blends in with the green because there's a lot of green, and that's why it came into this area. And that's also why the inchworms are here, because they blend in with this area, and there's also a lot to eat there. So here we have a picture of a butterfly, and there's butterflies there because they start out as like an inchworm or maybe even a caterpillar, which there's a picture right here. And so, well, these are the bad caterpillars that they eat all this stuff, but it's just an example of a caterpillar. So, but the butterflies, they're here because there's flowers. Picture of a flower right here. And they drink the nectar out of the flowers. That's also why there's bees. And so the caterpillars, they also, like the inchworms, they eat the plants, and then they grow up into the butterflies. So here we have a picture of a lizard, and I mentioned before that the lizards are here because of the spiders and the food web I have right here. And so the lizards, they eat all like the insects and like flies if they can catch them, and they rely on those insects to survive. So if those insects were to be taken out of the ecosystem, then the lizards wouldn't live there anymore, and they would move to a different place. So here and here we have pictures of a succulent, which it's like the leaves, they're not really leaves, they're like kind of thick, and they're filled with like a kind of juice. The tortoises like to eat them because it's chewy and it has those juices and waters in it that give them extra nutrients. So right here we have a picture of a honeysuckle. To be a little bit more specific, it's a Cape honeysuckle, and they are semi-tropical, and they attract butterflies and hummingbirds and stuff because they have a lot of nectar in the flowers, and the hummingbirds and butterflies like to drink that.